All right, all right. Welcome, everybody. Welcome, everybody. I hope you are well. See, folks are coming in now. Get us set up on the other platforms. Get IG going. I know it's been a crazy, crazy week. We're going to talk about that a little bit today. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Please let me know that you can see me and hear me in chat. Let me know that you can see me and hear me on chat. All right, cool. Anybody on chat? Can you see me and hear me? Okay, perfect. Thank you. There we go. All right. All right. All right. We're going to get started here in just a second. Happy Sunday. Happy Sunday. I see Michelle, Akili, Valerie, Trania, LG, Ryan, Ava, Dawn. Good, good, good. So happy to have you here. Welcome to the Financial Church. IG, what's going on, y'all? I hope you're well. Welcome to the Financial Church, where faith meets finance. We're about to finish our 4-part series on the parable of the talents. So we are good to go. All right, good, good, good. How's everybody doing? How's everybody doing amongst all this chaos? All this chaos. How's everybody doing? I hope you're well. Hope you're well. We got a powerful teaching today that is particularly relevant given the times, and I'm excited to be here with you on this Sunday. If this is your first time joining us, this is the Financial Church, and this is where we practice financial spirituality and where we are seeking to master manifestation and money. So I'm excited to have you here because this is a relevant and extremely important conversation given the times. So if you are joining us on Instagram, then I encourage you to go to thefinancialchurch.com, thefinancialchurch.com, to sign up and be able to join us in Zoom, as well as get on our email list for upcoming teachings and services. We're typically here on Sundays at 4 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And this is our first 4-part series. This is the fourth actual Financial Church service. And I'm praying on the continuation of it. Right now, we are going into week 5. Week 5, we will actually be doing our financial analysis. We will be doing our balance sheets. So every first Sunday of the month, we take time to, or close to the end of the month, we take time, instead of having a service or a direct teaching, we actually do our finances, and we look at if our net worth has increased from month to month to month. So that will be next week. And then I'm still praying on how God's Spirit wants me to move going forward. But today we are in our 4th part of the parable of the talents, which is a core scripture to understanding what God wants for us when it comes to money. So if you are joining us on social media, please hit the like button, hit the share button if you want to get this message out. If this truth has set you free in the past, then please set this truth free by getting it out to as many people as possible. All right. So, again, I would just want to welcome everybody. If you're just joining us for the first time, my name is Julian Gordon, and I want to welcome you to the Financial Church. First off, I want to give thanks to God and the Most High, however you define that in this moment, for this moment. This is a non-denominational space. You don't have to be of a particular religious background or belief system in order to be here. We don't focus on morality here. We live, though we are moral people, that is not the focus. That is for your church service in the morning, okay? We live your church service in the morning, and we are here to help you understand our relationship to money and manifestation, okay? So this is an intersection of faith and finance, and we focus on financial spirituality, like I said, which is the manifestation of focusing on mastering manifestation and mastering money. We are trying to create heaven on earth, and heaven is, for us, not a place up in the sky, or for me. And I don't expect you at all to agree with everything that I say, okay? This is my belief system, and my belief system has been powerful for me, and I hope that it blesses you. Everybody has their own religion. You may be in a larger set, but the reality is that everybody has their own religion, okay? And what I'm sharing with you is my beliefs, and if a new thought that I give to you through this space inspires new thought in you, then that's great, okay? I'm not asking you to adopt any belief system. In fact, I want you to question absolutely everything that I share. I want you to question and test it for yourself. Okay. And if it doesn't work for you, then it doesn't work for you. So take the good, leave what doesn't work, and let's move forward. Okay. So I also want to take a moment just for everybody to pause and take a deep breath. Everybody pause and take a deep breath. We'll do 3 breaths. Okay. So stop whatever you're doing, wherever you are. I just want you to be still for just a second and let's get grounded. Okay. Inhale, belly goes out. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Okay, good. So the reason that's important is just to get us present in the here and now. The only time that really exists is the here and now. The past nor the future actually exists. All we have is here and now. And each breath reminds us that God always supplies what we need right on time. Okay. Your Father knows exactly what you need even before you ask. That's according to Matthew 6:8. And if only we could accept money, right? If only we could accept money and anything that we desire the way we accept air, we would actually have all the wealth that we desire right here and right now. So imagine having the same relationship to money and wealth as you do air, that you know that everything that you need is going to come right on time. When is the last time you questioned oxygen? Okay. You haven't. You don't worry about it. You know that it's going to be there. And that's the relationship that we want to have with money. Okay. So I also want to give thanks for your presence. And thank you for being here and you're listening wherever you are, whether you're live stream or watching this later. My prayer and prayer request of you is that I have heard and understood God correctly, and that I'm able to simplify and translate these divine downloads to you through the power of my words. I pray that you have the ears to hear and that this inner conversation converts you or renews your mind to move your thinking in a new way and towards an upward state, towards a wealth consciousness, because many of us land over are caught in poverty consciousness. Or caught in poverty consciousness, okay? Poverty consciousness, as you know, 78% of Americans are living paycheck to paycheck. 78% of Americans. So this is not just a Black thing, okay, y'all? This is 78% of Americans are living paycheck to paycheck, or were as of last week, and that will probably be worse heading forward, but I know that all things are working together for our good, okay? 66% of Americans hate their job, okay? So, and a lot of them just lost their job as a result of this particular situation that people call the coronavirus. And this is just an awakening for all of us. This is an awakening for all of us. And it's a moment to be still. And since we can't go outside, it's time to go within and reprogram our ideas of money and our ideas of our own value. Like, why are we mad? Why are we mad? So a lot of people just got out of an abusive relationship. Let's just keep it 100. A lot of people just got out of an abusive relationship with their job. Now, we think that the job was being abusive, but the reality is that we were allowing it to be. We were accepting less than we actually deserve. We were accepting less than we actually deserve. A lot of people think that they are undervalued. If you're undervalued and you truly believe that you were undervalued, then you would have left. You would have left. Why stay? Okay? And the reason we stay is because we don't believe that we could get better somewhere else. Okay, so this is hit the reset button. You know, the reset button on Nintendo, it didn't save your game. So if you hit the reset button on Nintendo, you were going all the way back to the beginning. You were starting all over. And that's what's occurring for us. We're hitting a reset. And we realize that having one stream of income is not sustainable, no matter how high that income was, and that we need diverse streams of income. And there are many different ways to receive. And that's what today's teaching is really all about, is receiving, okay? So I do encourage you to get paper. I do encourage you to get paper, to take notes. And the reason we encourage you to take notes in this space, because when you think about music, right, a note means a change in frequency. A note means a change of frequency. If you don't have a change of frequency, then it's just a singular note, but a note means a change of frequency. So when we write, we are moving an idea in the mind from the first dimension, which is in the mind, to second dimension when it's actually written down, okay? Second dimension, now it's flat. And then ultimately, of course, when we manifest something, we want to turn it to a third dimension, right? But when you write, you are making your word flesh. You are making the word flesh, okay? And you remember yourself to the truth of who you truly are. Otherwise, I would just be throwing these thoughts into your existing stream of thoughts, and they would get washed away. And so we want you to take notes because we're trying, and I'm seeking to elevate your frequency to a just higher place, whatever that means for you, from poverty consciousness into a state of wealth consciousness, okay? So again, if this truth sets you free, I encourage you to set it free by sharing it. So again, hit the like button, share button, comment, so that we can break these algorithms. And I know that these algorithms have nothing on God's reach, right? Yeah, Instagram, Facebook, those things, they have great reach all across the globe, but they have nothing on God's reach. And if this message is actually full of truth, then it will reach those who it's meant to reach. And I'm glad that you are all here today. Okay, so we are in our series. This is the fourth part of our series on the parable of the talents. This is the financial ministry, and this particular parable is actually core to this ministry because it really talks to us about how we should operate with money. In this parable, it's referred to as talents. And we've dissected a lot of that in the first 3 weeks. In the week 1, we talked about why the rich get richer and the poor get poorer. We talked about the scripture, to he who has, more will be given, and he who has not, what he has will be taken away. And so basically that's really saying, if you have it in your mind, abundance consciousness, then you will start to have it in the real world. Right? But if you have scarcity consciousness in your mind, then you will start to lose that which you have, okay? Even if you had a lot in terms of physical, tangible things. And so it's not about the rich getting richer and the poor getting poorer from the way we see it in this earthly realm, but it's really about what's happening here. And if you have it here, if you have it here in terms of abundance mindset, believing that there is more than enough, right? That God is our infinite supply, then you will start to experience that in your reality. But if you believe that your God has limits and that there is lack, however you define God, then that will be your outward experience in the world. Okay, so on earth as it is in heaven. Heaven is here, y'all. In my mind, heaven is in my mind here. Okay, it's not some place we go to after we die. Jesus said that I've come that you have more life and have it more abundantly. That means that we are supposed to have it here. He said heaven is in your midst. Heaven is within. It's neither here nor there. If it's in the sky, then the birds will precede you. If it's below the ground, if it's in below the ground or in the water, then the fish will precede you. Right? It is here and now. And I don't know how this imagery or this narrative that heaven is someplace we go to after we die, I don't know where that imagery has come from. Even if you just read the Gospels yourself, right? And I take a majority of my teaching from the Gospels and what Jesus actually said, though, of course, I use the entire book and I pull from elsewhere. It says it right there, that it's not this place we go to after, that it's here and now, okay? So in week 2, we got into mind your own business, right? And that was talking about comparing. Okay. Oftentimes our business, we're over here running other people's businesses and counting other people's pockets when we are supposed to be here about our Father's business. Okay. And that means walking on our purpose and trusting that if we seek ye first the kingdom of God, that all the things that we desire will be added unto us. Okay. And then in week 3, we got into how to multiply money, and we talked about the 3 ways to multiply money using all of the characters that were in the parable of the talents and the way they related to money, and how one buried money, basically putting it in a savings account where it's doing nothing, it's actually losing value, right? And then the others doubled their money. And then the master was able to make money without actually working, reaping where he had not sown, right? And then in week 4 today, we're talking about receive so that you can give. Receive so that you can give. I know you heard over and over, gives so that you can receive, right? Give and you shall receive. But it's a reciprocal relationship. It's a reciprocal relationship between giving and receiving. And so if we have not received or we haven't developed the skill set of receiving, then it will actually block us from continuing to give. And so we actually have to develop our receiving muscle. Many of you are great givers, and we're going to get into that in just a second, but we actually have to develop the skill set of being able to receive. All right. So let me ask some questions really quickly just to get us grounded in terms of where we're at, okay? And I know myself, and I want to see how many people out there are like me, and type a me in the chat or raise your hand if you're like me. Let me know if you're the person that everybody in your family or around you comes to ask for money. Is that you, or is that just me? Raise your hand if you're the person that everybody comes to ask for money. Raise your hand if you are the person people come to ask for advice and to hold space for them when they going through stuff. Raise your hand if that's you. Okay. Raise your hand if you're the only one of your siblings that your parents lean on. Lean on me. You that sibling. You got older siblings, you got younger siblings, you got siblings with higher income than you, but for some reason, your parents always leaning on you. Okay? I'm an only child, so it all falls on me when it comes to my mom's side. All right. All right. So I'm not alone. I'm not alone. Okay, cool. Raise your hand if you're the one that always says yes when friends need help moving. They just know to call you. You was ready to relax, go to the spa that weekend, and they knew to call you to help them move. Dawn said, "Oh my God, yes." All right. Raise your hand if you're the one that people randomly reach out to donate money. They ain't talked to you in 10 years, but they just knew something about your spirit when they met you, and you the one that they targeting to donate. Ain't talked to you, ain't seen you in forever, ever, but want you to donate money. Y'all know what I'm talking about? All right, cool. Raise your hand if you're the one that randomly gives the homeless person not $1, but $5. Raise your hand if you're the one that gives the homeless person $5, not just $1, but $5. Okay? Whatever's in my pocket, I'm giving it to you. I'm not just gonna go look for the smallest bill. Okay? All right. Somebody said I give food. Good. Raise your hand if you're the one that goes all out for your significant other's birthday. Sometimes, and I hope they're not sitting next to you, sometimes they don't go all out for you, but you go all out for them. I mean, pull out all the stops. So much so that it's hard to plan the next one because you just went out, or you went all out on this one. You don't even know what you're going to do for the next one. All right, cool. Raise your hand if you're the one that gives the best, most thoughtful gifts, holiday gifts, birthday gifts, random gifts for no reason. All right. Raise your hand if you are the one that does things for others in secret at home or work. You do things for people in secret. You have their back. They won't even know who did it. You don't even care about being seen, but you know that somebody needed help in a moment and you did something. You vacuumed, you washed the dishes, you finished that project, you sent that email to the client, you spell checked the document before it went out. All right. So I'm talking about people today, okay? All right, cool. So we all going through the same stuff, right? So this is all good, but again, it's only one side of the equation. What this suggests is that if we could receive more, if all of us who are givers by nature could receive more, it would actually put us in a better position to give more. If you had more, would you be able to give more? Type yes. If you had more, would you be able to give more? All right. And if you had more, would you be able to do more good? If you had more, would you be able to do more good? Yes. Okay, good. So then it's really important that you have more, but we can only have more if we receive more, right? We can only have more if we receive more so that we can give more. It's a reciprocal relationship. So we have to develop this skill set of receiving. This is a skill that can be worked on. For some of us, we were just naturally givers. We were naturally givers, okay? But we have to work on the skill set of receiving so that we can give more and actually do more good in the world, okay? So I know some of y'all are like, Julian, I thought this was a financial ministry. Show me the money. What we talking about here? I am. But one of the main reasons that your manifestation of all the good that you want to be doing, being, doing, and having is blocked is that you don't, it's not that you don't have what you need, okay? In fact, it's the opposite. It's because you have things that you don't need, such as fear, such as doubt, such as worry, comparison, competition, unforgiveness, grief, anger, resentment, low self-esteem, and not enoughness. We don't need to add anything on to you. God made you perfect, whole, and complete. There's nothing that needs to be added on to you. You were made perfect, but there were things that were added on to you once you were born, programming, that we actually need to remove so that you can receive as you were intended to receive, okay? You cannot receive the maximum if your receiver is not operating at its maximum capacity, okay? You cannot receive the maximum if your receiver is not operating at its maximum capacity. You remember the old TVs where you had to put foil, you got to put foil on the antenna if the channel wasn't working? You know what I'm talking about? If the channel wasn't working, because the receiver, it was broken, so you couldn't receive the channels that you were supposed to channel. And now back in the day, it was like what, 5 channels? It was 5 channels. But if that antenna wasn't in the right position, didn't have some foil on it, then you couldn't even receive the 5 channels that you had. So we have to work on our receiver. We have to work on our receiver, okay? So when we were talking about the parable of the talents, I'm not going to read it all today because we've already went over it several times in the past 3 weeks. But in verse 15, Matthew 25:15, it says, to one he gave 5 talents, to another 2, to another 1, to each according to his ability. To each according to his ability. Now, I believe that that ability was actually the ability to receive. Remember, these were servants in the parable, right? These were servants. So they didn't have any financial expertise. But what the master was able to observe was their ability to receive what he had given them in the past. And so they were given according to their ability to receive. There was no demonstration of them multiplying money up until that moment in time. This, based on the way the parable is written, it makes it appear as if it was the first time that they were given this particular responsibility as servants. So this ability that I think we need to develop, this muscle that we need to develop, is our ability to receive, okay? And so this is what we're going to work on today, all right? So when we look at this scripture, we know that God is our angel investor. God is our angel investor. The only way this whole party called life starts is you being willing to receive. You in the spirit realm, before you became through the birth canal, you in the spirit realm saying, I'm willing to receive that duty, that purpose, that family. I'm willing to receive these things and that energy and that life, and go ahead and put me in, coach. Go ahead and put me in. So we didn't self-generate, okay? Unless we recognize that we are one with God, we didn't really self-generate, right? This was God generating us. So we started out, our true nature is to begin receiving. Even when we come out the womb, we spend first 4 or 5 years just in complete receiving mode. We have to receive because we aren't able to do for self at that particular time. My daughter knows how to make some food. She knows how to get her water. She knows how to take care of herself, brush her own teeth, things of that nature, choose her pajamas, stuff like that. But when we come into this world, we are 100% receivers. But over the course of life, we stop remembering how to receive. And we actually deem receiving as a bad thing, especially those of us who are actually givers, right? So somehow, some way, you made a covenant with God to give to you. In another realm, before you came through the womb, you made a covenant with God to give you something. And that something was this life that you have, okay? The scripture says, freely ye have received, freely give. It doesn't say, freely you have given, now receive. Actually, it says both. Give and you shall receive, right? But Matthew 10:8 says, freely ye have received, now freely give, okay? So again, I just want to remind you of this reciprocal relationship because we've been good at the giving part, right? But we haven't been great at the receiving part. So what God has given you, we have to know is not for you. But if you use what God has given you, you will get yours, okay? I'm going to repeat that. What God has given you is not for you. All your gifts, all your talents, all the money you might have stepped into and inherited, everything that you have received is not for you. But if you use what God has given you, you will get yours. That is the promise. That is the promise. We are meant to give our gifts. It's called a gift, right? It's called a gift. When you get a gift, right, you are meant to use that gift. You are meant to use that gift. And so our life is a gift. We didn't have to pay anything for it. The price was already paid. And so now, since we were given it freely, it also puts us in position to give of it freely. And if we do that, that's how we receive. Seek ye first the kingdom of God, and all those things will be added unto you. Okay? But what happens is we try to save our life. And what did Jesus say? Those who try to save their lives will lose it, and those who lose their lives for my sake will save it. Okay? We try to save our life. But like we talked about with money, money is useless unless it is used. And this is what the parable of the talent shows us. The servant who buried their money, okay? And remember, when we talk about money, we know that money, and we define money as stored energy. And we know that a servant buried their money. They buried their energy, buried their life force, which was stored in this form of paper, right? They buried it. And until money is used, it is useless. And so some of us are trying to bury our lives, like dead, like literally walking dead, because we aren't living the life that we have been given to the fullest. Like, what are we waiting for? What are we waiting for? This reset that is happening in society as a result of this virus, this is a really just asking the question, what have you been waiting for? What have you been waiting for? It wasn't all good just a week ago. 78% of Americans were living paycheck to paycheck. 66% of Americans hated their job. It was not all good just a week ago. So now you have a complete reset. Yeah, there may be some financial hiccups for folks because they hadn't saved, because they hadn't created any wealth whatsoever. But once this clears up, once this storm is gone, what have you been waiting for? This is your opportunity. Like I said, some of you just got out of an abusive relationship with your employer. Now, the relationship, the employer wasn't the one abused. The employer may have initiated, actually, I won't even put it on the employer. We always blame corporate America. At some point, you signed a piece of paper accepting a salary lower than you were truly worth. You signed that paper. You signed that paper. You said yes. We are only worth what we accept. You can think you're worth more all day long. Oh yeah, I'm underpaid, etc. You are only worth what you accept. If you really believe that you were worth more, you would not have accepted what they put on that paper. All right? So let's just be honest about the relationship, not externalize. We always, when we're trying to solve a problem, we look within first. We don't look without. We don't wait for other people to change. We don't wait for other institutions to change. We look within first because we know that the source of the experience that we're having is in our mind. All right. I took my daughter to the movies, and the theater was pretty empty, and I was able to just look back and realize that the projection that is on the screen is what we call reality, but that's not really what's reality. If I don't like what's happening on that screen, right, I can throw popcorn at it. I can go slash the screen. I can boo all I want, but it won't change what's happening on that screen because that screen is just a projection, right? If I want to change what's occurring on the screen, then I need to go up into the booth and change the film that's actually in the projector. And so that film are the thoughts that are running in our mind. What is it called? Motion pictures. These are motion pictures that are happening in our mind, and they're getting projected outwardly as our experience of life. And we are yelling at the government. We're mad at the government. We're mad at this. We're mad at my mom, mad at this person, mad at that person, against this, against that. But all of those things are just projections of your mind. You can yell all you want, but until you change your thought process, right, then nothing is going to change on your screen, which you call reality. Okay? So this is how the power of the mind actually works, right? So again, we were given freely. And in fact, in chat, please let me know, what were all the things that God has given you freely that you haven't had to pay for, not one bit? What are all the things you were given freely? What are all the things you were given freely? Be more specific. My body, my eyesight, breath, creativity, free will, my mindset, my parents, good health, my legs, love of my parents, ability to love, grace. Look at all these things that we were given freely. You just look at the first chapter of Genesis, first 2 chapters of Genesis, just laid it all out for you. Just gave it all to you for free. No money was exchanged whatsoever. God gave you life, a ticket to this earthly experience, body, sight, hearing, nature, food, parents, breath, gifts, talent, strength, a sane mind, the universal laws by which we are all operating under, and free will. Like, just to make it clear to y'all, it's named free will. It was given to you for free. Just to make it transparent and 100% clear, free will. The ability to come here and create whatever experience that you desire. But when we start adding on these labels of, I'm a woman, I'm a man, I'm African American, I'm this. I'm lower class. I'm poor. I'm rich. I'm Christian. I'm Muslim. When we start adding on these labels, those labels start informing our experiences. It starts changing our identity. You have one identity, y'all. Your one identity is that you were made in God's image. You were a child of God. That's the only identity that matters. Yeah, you got all these other physical things. You can tell that I'm a man. You can tell that I'm of African descent, right? You can tell that I'm heterosexual. You know what I'm saying? There's a lot of things you can tell just by looking at me. You might be able to hear through my speech. I'm educated. All these are labels. They're all fictitious. They're all made up. The only label that ever matters is that you remember and recognize that you are made in God's image. See, I don't have a particular religion. If I was to name my religion anything, it would be made in God's image. And that is the most universal religion of all. Because guess what? You were made in God's image. 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 All of us are made in God's image. I'm not worried about whose set is bigger. Oh, these people got more people than these people, so they must be right. I'm not worried about all that. That's not the level that I'm playing on. Okay? One thing I know that unites all of us is that we have the same Father, Mother, God. We have the same Father, Mother, God. That's how I move. And again, I want to remind everybody, I'm not here to invite you or ask you to accept my beliefs. Question everything that I say. I'm sharing with you my beliefs and how I've been able to master manifestation and money. And you may take some of it and leave the rest of it. That's perfectly fine. There's no judgment. I'm not trying to convert you to anything or whatnot. Okay. I just hope that you get some value and that your poverty, or I won't say that you have poverty consciousness, that your consciousness raises towards that of wealth consciousness, because abundance is your birthright. That's all I care about. Okay. The Bible was written for 3 reasons. It was written to teach us how to relate to God. It was teach us how to relate to each other. And then the third one that I think gets missed is it was teach us how to create. And what I do here in this space is extract the principles from primarily that book, because that was my upbringing. That's what I know the best, to focus on how we can use these spiritual principles to create, to manifest, okay? To master manifestation and master money, okay? I don't judge anybody's religion or belief system. I don't look negatively down on any of that, okay? So again, this is not about you adopting anything that I'm sharing, but I do believe in financial spirituality. I do believe that money is of God. God created all. God created all. And so we're trying to understand that energy of money so that we can actually have a better relationship, because it is one of the key ingredients to manifestation, okay? So this whole process that we are engaged in starts with receiving. This whole life that we have, it starts with receiving. But again, we had all this programming that gets us out of receiving mode, right? And this is where the resistance to receiving, this is what many of us have. We have a resistance to receiving. We have a resistance to receiving, okay? You reap what you sow, but on the flip side, you can only sow if you have, you cannot sow if you have not reaped, okay? So us coming into this world, we reaped. We reaped of some fruit somewhere else before we came through the womb, okay? There's no chicken and the egg problem here. There's God and there's you. God gave to you, God poured life into you, and you got going like a stalled car. Okay. Once the stalled car is in motion, right? You have 2 people pushing it or something like that. Then it can build off that momentum and it can sustain itself. But guess what? Once that car gets fixed, right? Once it gets going again, what do you have to do? What does a car always need if you want it to keep going, y'all? What does a car need? It needs gas. And when you're putting in gas, it is receiving gas. It is receiving gas. I don't care if you have a Bentley. I don't care if you have, what do they call it, a jalopy? I don't care what kind of car it is. It needs gas and it needs oil. A car has to receive. Your body is a vehicle. This living temple that you have is a vehicle, and it has to receive. And I'm not just talking about the food energy. That is one form of receiving, right? Is the food energy. Making sure that we're putting in good fuel into this temple, this vehicle that we were given. Okay? Your life is your vehicle to design, drive, and maintain. But we have to receive. And some of us are running on E. Some of us are running on E, and now, given this situation, the gas stations are closed. Some of us have been running on E, and now the gas stations are closed. It is unsustainable to run on E. And we've been operating in this sacrificial way, and it's cutting off from giving all the good that we are capable of giving to the world. Okay. In fact, I'm gonna keep it real with y'all. Y'all with me? Some of us give like credit card companies. How many of y'all hate credit card companies? Some of us give like credit card companies. We give freely, but then we make it hard for other people to pay us back. I'm gonna just let that sit for a second. Some of us give like credit card companies. We give freely. They give you money freely, but then they make it hard for you to pay them back. Some of us get a psychological payoff by holding other people that we've given to in debt. We get a psychological payoff by knowing that I'm the giver in this relationship. Okay? When you've given to someone more than you've received, you are literally holding them hostage. They want to give back. They want to pour into you, but you want to keep that edge by giving more than they've given you. Ask me how I know, y'all. I'm not talking about y'all. I'm talking about me right now. Okay? I'm not calling nobody out except for myself. And if you relate, you relate. Okay? We hold other people hostage by trying to stay ahead in the giving game. All right? They can never repay you, so then they constantly feel like they owe you. Just think about that. You never let them repay you, so they constantly feel like they owe you. You didn't help them move 3 times in New York, but when it was time for you to move, you didn't call on them for help. And so they feel indebted to you. Okay? And in some relationships, y'all, in some relationships, you were Sally Mae. In some relationships, you were Sally Mae. People feel indebted to you, and you haven't created a way for them to pay you back. And we know how people feel about Sally Mae, right? We know how people feel about Sally Mae. So you've been good at giving, but now, especially in these times, you got to learn how to receive. Okay? You don't want to be the Sally Mae of giving. You don't want to be the credit card of giving where people never can pay you back. And yeah, of course, it may not always come back to you through the person that you gave to, but sometimes those people want to give back to you in their own way. They may not be good at helping you move and pack. Perhaps they were disorganized and they know you're organized, and so they ask you to help them move, right? But you wouldn't ask them to help you to move because you know they disorganized. But perhaps there's another way that they've been trying to give to you to say thank you for what you've done. And then what we do is we start to sit in it, even though we're the ones that overgave. We start to sit in it and we start to resent them for not giving to us back. We start to resent them for not giving to us back when we didn't create a way for them to give back to us. And this happens in romantic relationships all the time too. This is why they have the love languages, right? You got to know which love language you give in, and you got to know which love language you like to receive in, and you got to communicate that with your partner. You two have to be in alignment on that, all right? So now the master in the parable of the talents has an expectation of return, okay? He said, I'm going to give you these 5 talents, give you these 2 talents, and give you this 1 talent. I'm going to be gone for a little bit, and I expect more money when I get back. The master has an expectation of return. And last week we discussed that we want to operate like the master. We want to operate like the master, right? So even the master in this parable, who represents God, has an expectation of receiving. The master has an expectation of receiving, okay? Now, obviously, God doesn't need anything from us. God has given us access to the entire storehouse. God is our infinite supply, right? But God wants to experience itself through us, okay? Who are each individual, unique expressions of that one thing, whatever you call it, okay? So God's return on investment is our return to God. God's return on investment, and the investment is in you, is our return to our God state, to as close as we can get, okay? Is it not written in your law, I have said ye are gods? That's Jesus quote for quote. Okay? That is the call for all of us. So we want to operate. We're trying to be like God. We're made in God's image. If God is even God, the giver of all, is in an expectation of receiving, though it doesn't need to receive, it has an expectation of receiving, then we need to be in that same place. So again, many of us have mastered one side of the equation, but not the full thing, okay? So Jesus said, I have come that you may have life and have it more abundantly. To each successful servant, the parable of the talents says, enter into the joy of the master, okay? Enter into the joy of the master. So we get a lot of joy by giving, okay? We get a lot of joy by giving. But if only you would allow, I'll say we, if only we, because I'm included in this, if we would allow someone or something, however God decides to bring it to us, to give to us in the same way that we've been giving, I guarantee that we would all experience even more joy. I know you get a lot of joy from giving, but imagine receiving in all different ways, not just romantic relationships, all different ways, the way that you actually give. You would be overwhelmed with joy. The parable says, enter into the joy of your master. Okay? So this is the reciprocal relationship that we want to step into. He also, who had received 1 talent, came forward saying, Master, I knew you to be a hard man, reaping where you did not sow and gathering where you scattered no seed. The full cycle or circle is called the law of circulation. Some people call it karma. You reap what you sow. Egyptians call it ma'at. What goes around comes around, the yin and the yang, the wheel of fortune. This is the cycle. Money is supposed to be circulated. Giving and receiving, 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 giving and receiving. And when I talk about money, I'm talking about that as one of the tangible things, but in all relationships, energy is supposed to be giving and receiving, 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 okay? Now, there's many different ways for us to use this thing called currency, right? Currency is supposed to have a current. It's supposed to be in motion. We can spend it, we can save it, we can donate it, invest it, circulate it, okay? Spending it means releasing it forever. None of us here spend money. We don't spend money. Take that out of your vocabulary. We don't spend money here. Because when you spend money, it is gone forever, okay? It's spent, it's gone forever. There's no getting it back, okay? And then we know from this parable and the servant who buried their money, the next one is save it. Okay, if you're not spending it, okay, then I'm saving it. Nope, we don't do that either here. Because hoarding money is like the third servant. And we know that when we're saving money in a Bank of America savings account, we're earning 0.03% interest, right? And using the rule of 72, we teach financial equations here. 72 divided by 0.03 means that it will take you 2,400 years to double your money, saving it. Nope, that's not what we do here. We don't save money here. We save to the extent of our emergency fund and 2 months of operating expenses. But after that, we want our money to be in play. That emergency fund is for times like this where your primary stream of income might have got cut off. But after we reach that level, we want all of our money to be out in the world working for us. We want Benjamin Franklin to be our employee. We want I don't even know these presidents' name. Hamilton to be out there working for us. We want Jackson to be working for us. We want Lincoln to be out there working for us. We want to send them out to work for us every single day. We bring these dead presidents to life by sending them out to work for us. Because when they are just sitting around in a savings account, guess what? That's when they're really dead presidents. But you can resurrect those presidents by investing them in ideas and individuals that you believe in, okay? So the next option we have is to donate it. We don't know what to do with it. We might feel some guilt, and so we might donate it. And donating is good, right? You're releasing it towards some good or some God, right? I donated yesterday to a cause that I found online. I randomly do those things. When I see somebody doing good work in the world, I donate. I'm in a constant process of giving, okay? But the only thing about donating, and this is, we'll go into this at another time. If you donate into organization or idea that is not regenerative, regenerative, okay? Then the donating is not sustainable. This is why the nonprofit industry operates from so much lack and scarcity, because they have a model that is not regenerative, okay? When you look at some of these colleges, even though they're losing students right now, they have endowments, and those endowments are regenerative, regenerative, meaning that what they contribute to the college every single year comes off what that endowment earned. So when you pour into the endowment and that endowment makes money, then that's what goes to the college. They never deplete the core source of where it's coming from, okay? So we have to rethink the whole nonprofit model because in most cases, it's not regenerative, okay? And then of course, our fourth option is to invest it or circulate it. Invest it or circulate it, okay? This is why it's called a return on investment, because it's coming back to you. Can't determine exactly when it's gonna come back to you or how it's going to come back to you, but when you invest in the right way, right, then you get a return. It returns to you. The cycle is complete, right? So I talked to you, I don't have any money with me right now. I don't have any cash with me right now, but remember, here's how I release money, how I circulate money. When I'm releasing it, I say, in God I trust, and then I let it go. In God I trust, right? It's right there. In God we trust. I personalize it. In God I trust, and I let it go. And then when it comes back to me, I look at it, and you want to know what I say? In God I trusted. In God I trust, release. Stay open to receiving and get that money back with some friends. In God I trusted. You see how this works, y'all? In God I trust, release. Stay open to receiving in all the ways that it may come. In God I trusted. This is proof. The fact that that money circulated, it is proof that I trusted in God while that money was gone away. One day, what I'm gonna do is I know this is illegal. I think it's illegal to mark up money. I would like to put my initials, I would love to put my initials on all my money. It's not my money. Remember, we talked about that in week 3. None of it's our money, right? It's a tool for us to use. But I would like to put my initials on all of it. And I would love to see if one day I actually got back $1 or some bill that I put out there in the world. I would love to see that. I'm afraid to mark up the money. I'm not afraid. I'm not fearful. But I would just like to try that experiment. Just put my initials real small somewhere, and every time I receive money, see if that initial is there. I believe that on several occasions, I would get back the very same bill that I put out. And you want to know what would be even doper? If I got back that bill in a completely different city. It would be one thing to get it in this neighborhood that I'm in, or even in this city, but to be somewhere else in another state and get back the same bill that I initialed 3 years ago would be phenomenal. And I think that's possible. Okay? So I'll let you know if I decide to go forth with that experiment. Okay, y'all with me? Y'all with me? I know. We're trying to say, government gonna be like, who's this JG with all this initialing all our money? Right? Indeed. Okay. So this is how I relate to money, and I encourage you to try it. In God I trust, release, stay open to receiving, get it back, and with some more, in God I trusted. That was the demonstration of your trust in your faith. Okay. So receiving is the feminine or subjective, and the subjective is the feeling aspect. Giving is the masculine or the objective. And though we are breaking down the traditional gender paradigms, remember, feminine and masculine have nothing to do with gender, okay? As a man, I have feminine and masculine in me. As a woman, you have feminine and masculine in you, right? You were created by your mother and father coming together. That those energies are in all of us. Just in women, it tends to express the feminine. It tends to express more, right? And in men, the masculine tends to express more, but it's not always the case, okay? So this is why the men typically are called the breadwinner, right? Bread as in money, right? Because he was typically the provider. But again, these paradigms are breaking down. So So again, we always hear, give, so shall we, as we give, so shall we receive, right? But we never hear that we must be ready to receive in order for someone to give, right? We must be ready to receive in order for someone to give. Some of us have been givers our entire lives, and we embrace that identity so much that we see receiving as the opposite of giving. We see it as negative. We already know giving is good. We all know that. But some of us have embraced this identity so much that we create this dualistic situation where receiving is actually deemed as negative. We've connected giving to good, and therefore receiving in our mind subconsciously becomes this negative thing. But they're actually part of the same cycle. You cannot have one without the other, okay? They are in a reciprocal relationship. And to the extent, because you are already by nature a giver, if you can master receiving, you will have more to give. If you can develop the skill set, it is a skill that can be developed. If you can develop the skill set of receiving, you have more to give, because the giving that you're already doing is good. What's lacking is the receiving, okay? So the question becomes, how do you get ready to receive? How do you get ready to receive, okay? So first and foremost, and I want you to write this down. Everybody got a pen, paper? First is physical or financial, okay? In order to get ready to receive from a physical or financial aspect, right, in the physical reality, the question is, are you being a good steward of what you already have? Are you being a good steward of what you already have? Because if you are not using the money that you currently have well, then why would God pour into a bucket that has all kinds of holes in it? Why would God pour more into a bucket that has tons of holes in it? You got all kinds of leaks. Your money is just flowing in all kinds of different directions. You have no control over it whatsoever. And you believe that having a bigger bucket and having more water is going to solve the problem. No, all that water is eventually, if the bucket is not secure, is going to leak out in the very same way. It's just going to be more waste. Okay? It's just going to be more waste. So the question is, are you being a good steward of what you already have? Many of us want more than we have, but first, we need to use what we have more. Y'all hear me on that? Many of us want more than we have, but first, we need to use what we have more. I'm gonna repeat that one more time, because I don't think y'all got it. Many of us want more than we have, but we need to use what we have more. Y'all with me on that? Okay. So are you fully appreciating what you already have? I'll give you some examples. You want a house that's double the size of the house that you're in right now. Are you taking care of the home that you have right now? If I come into your home right now, is it clean? Is it tidy? Is it looking nice? Are you washing the baseboards? Or how your baseboards look? In chat, let me know how your baseboards looking right now. Are you even taking care of the home that you have, the smaller home that you have? Are you even taking care of it? Valerie said dusty. So you want me to give you a house that's twice the size so you can have double the dust? No, that's not how it works, okay? You want a job that's double the salary, okay? Are you performing like that? Are you performing like the salary you want right now? See, a lot of times when people want more money, and they're frustrated at the job that they have that they accepted, they start taking their performance down. They start cutting back. They start only doing 20 hours of work and they're doing other things on the side, right? But that's not how it works. If I'm getting drafted, if I'm an NCAA basketball player and I just had a great March Madness, and I know March Madness got canceled, so this metaphor probably not landing the same way. If I had a great March Madness, I'm going to leave after that great March Madness, even if I was a freshman, because I know my stock is going to be higher. Many of us who have jobs, we actually want to leave when our performance is going down, when we've been pulling back because we feel undervalued. And trying to transition in the job market when you have no recent demonstration of doing something amazing for your current employer, that's going to be really, really challenging. So you say you want double the salary, then is your performance at double the level that you truly desire? You might not get it from your current employer, but if your performance is double the level, then somebody else is going to poach you. okay? Your car is not your dream car, that's okay, but is it clean and washed? Type no if your car ain't clean and washed right now. You want a nicer car, but is your current car clean and washed? I don't care how old it is. I had a 2000 Honda Accord till the end of 2018. I had a 2000 Honda Accord till 2018. I took care of it. How many? 120,000 miles. Okay, I took care of it, and now I have a nicer one. Okay, so are you even taking care of what you currently have? Your wardrobe isn't all that, but are you ironing your clothes? Are you cleaning them? Are they all folded? You want a better wardrobe, but if I come and look at your closet right now, it look a mess. You aren't taking care of what you already have. Okay, so this is the first way to get ready to receive is by, in the physical and financial realm, is by taking care and being a better steward of what you already have. All right. The second thing, emotionally, how do you get ready to receive? Emotionally, you need to forgive or ask for forgiveness. What? Julian, what is forgiving and asking for forgiveness? What does that got to do with money? Well, here's the deal. The prefix for, F-O-R-E, means in front, okay? So in front of giving, it's forgive, right? For-give. So in front of giving or being given to, you must forgive. In front of giving or being given to, you must forgive. You are holding on to baggage by not forgiving or asking for forgiveness. You are holding on to baggage that is preventing spirit from pouring into you. So you actually have to forgive on an emotional level in order to receive. And then energetically, this is the third way. There's physically and financially, there's emotionally, and then energetically. Energetically, to get ready to, in order to get ready, right, is if you're not getting ready to give, what are you receiving for? Energetically, if you want to receive, listen to this very carefully. Energetically, if you want to receive more, you have to get ready to give. Energetically, if you want to receive more, you have to get ready to give. See, I come from privilege, so I had a silver spoon in my mouth, but I've been taking that silver spoon that was in my mouth and I've been trying to feed as many people as possible with it, okay? Why would God give you more if it believes that you're just going to store it in a savings account somewhere? If I'm an angel investor, remember, God is your angel investor, okay? God is your angel investor. As an investor, why would I give my money to a company who isn't even using what it currently has so that they can just store it and feel safe and secure? No. I've raised money in that way before, and what an investor wants to know is, how are you going to use this money? Why do you need it right now? You don't just raise money just for it to sit in a savings account for you to feel safe and secure. Remember, a boat is safe and secure at the dock, but that is not its purpose. Its purpose is to be out at sea. Money is safe and secure in a savings account, but that's not its purpose. As stored energy, it is supposed to be out in the world being used. It is useless until it is used, okay? So energetically, to get ready to receive, you actually have to know or have a desire or a goal for that resource. The reason Spirit keeps pouring into me is because it knows that I'm not going to keep this cash. I will take the cash and I will put it behind ideas and individuals and institutions that I believe in. It knows that I'm a steward of it, but I'm not a hoarder of it. Okay? It knows that it's going to go into use. It's going to be put into play. It's not going to be sitting on the sidelines in a savings account. This is why it continues to pour into me more and more and more, because it sees that I'm making good decisions. Like the servant with 5 talents, it sees that I'm making good decisions with the resource that it is giving to me. So it says, I'm going to give you more. I'll give you more. In the Luke version of the parable, the master gives one 10 cities, the other one 5 cities, and of course the one who buried their talents, or in that one, Mina, none. So it knows that I'm not just going to sit on what it gives to me. I'm not just going to store up more energy for my own safety and security. It gives to me because it knows that I have something to put it towards. All right. So some of you have no clue what you would do if you just got $50,000 in Instagram. This is going to cut off in just a second. I'll restart it. Some of you, if you got $50,000 windfall right now, some of you wouldn't have a clue what to do with it. If I got $50,000 right now, I know exactly where it would be going the next day. I know exactly where I'd be doing a wire transfer to. Some of you would get $50,000 and just sit on it. That doesn't do anything or anybody any good except make you feel safe and secure. Okay? So energetically, in order to receive more, you have to get ready to give. Does that make sense, y'all? Does that make sense? I know that one is a little bit challenging to grasp. Spirit isn't just going to give you something to sit on and rot and mold, right? In fact, with inflation, your money is actually losing value in a savings account, all right? So there's getting ready physically and financially. There's getting ready emotionally by forgiving. And then there's getting ready energetically by knowing exactly what you would do if you got more resources from your creator, okay? This is key. So let me ask you this. Who wishes God would give them more? Who wants to be the servant with 10, who was given 5 talents? Who wants to be given more? Okay. Who wants to be given more? I see everybody raising their hand. That's great. Okay. Well, great. Your wish is God's command, not my command. Your wish is God's command. So now that you've chosen your level of blessing, everybody says they want to be 5 talents. I don't want the 1 talent. I don't want the 2 talents. I want the 5 talents. Give me all I can handle, right? Well, I have some information to share with you regarding the talents, y'all. The Hebrew word for a term talent was kikar, a flat, round, gold or silver disc or circular shaped loaf. In the Greek language, the word comes from talanton, a large monetary measurement equal to 6,000 drachmas or denarii, and the Greek and Roman silver coins. So let me show you really quickly what a talent actually looks like, because y'all say y'all want 5 talents. Y'all say y'all all want 5 talents. Well, let me show you what a talent looks like. All right. Boom, boom. All right, here we go. This is what a talent looks like, y'all. All right. So all y'all talking good game, y'all want 5 talents, this and that. Good. I want to give you 5 talents. Your wish is God's command. You got 5 talents. All right. Good. Now here's the deal. And for those of you who are on Instagram, you want to go to get the Zoom channel. You want to go to thefinancialchurch.com, thefinancialchurch.com, and join us live on Zoom so you can see my slides right now. So you can see this imagery. All right. So here's the deal, y'all. Y'all know what's about to happen? Y'all know what's about to happen? I'm not showing you nothing creepy. A talent was the heaviest or largest biblical unit of measurement for weight, equal to 75 pounds. 75 pounds is about the weight of a window air conditioner or 100 cans of soda. So all of y'all just say you wanted 5 talents, okay? You all said you wanted 5 talents, all right? So you need to take home 500 cans of soda right now. Now keep in mind, this was way back in the day. Wasn't no cars, wasn't no Google, wasn't none of that, okay? So here's your responsibility. Here's this weight. You literally have weight on you now that you have to figure out. In fact, the reality is that some of y'all wouldn't even know how to get this stuff home. Some of y'all wouldn't even know how to get it home. But you said you wanted it, so your wish is granted. According to the New Naves Topical Bible, one who possesses 5 talents of gold or silver was a multimillionaire by today's standards. If you can get it home, okay? Some calculate that the talent in the parable to be equivalent to 20 years of wages for the common worker. So now that that's out the way, now that you know that you all have, what is that, 375 pounds to figure out how to carry home. And then from there, you need to figure out how to double that into 10 talents, which is then 750 pounds, and then bring that back to the master when he returns. How many of y'all are excited about your 5 talents right now? Y'all still excited about your 5 talents? Because it's a lot of weight to carry around. Wasn't no dollar bills, okay? Now remember what Luke 12:48 says, from everyone who has been given much, much will be required. And from the one who has been entrusted with much, even more will be expected. You all just asked for the 5 talents. You asked for the most that the master was given at that time. So much will be expected from you. This is one of our resistances to actually receiving, is that we don't want to receive too much, because with that comes responsibility. With knowing that we were blessed with much, we know that we have responsibility that comes with it. And that responsibility, just like the actual talent, feels like a weight on folks. It feels like a weight, knowing that you were blessed with much, and therefore much is required of you. We know intuitively that just hoarding these talents for ourselves, 20 years of wages, we know that intuitively that's financial sin. We've defined that as financial sin to just hoard money or missing the mark, okay? And the master said, when he gets back, there will be an accounting when I get back. And I'm not sure when I'll be back, but you must double whatever you've been given by that time. If you have questions, Google doesn't exist back in that day. Be fruitful and multiply, and I'll see you soon. That's basically what the master was saying. So y'all remember when Tupac said, I'm trying to make $1 out of 15 cents? We did the cash on cash return equation last week. What is the cash on cash return on $1 out of 15 cents? What is the cash on cash return on $1 out of 15 cents? Anybody know? You should know it. What's the ROI equation? We can't be wealthy if we don't know some of these basic equations. It's net profit, right? Ending minus beginning divided by beginning. Thank you, Rashad. When Tupac said, I'm trying to make $1 out of 15 cents, that is a 566% return. That is outstanding, okay? So we are trying to double these talents. So how many think it would be easy to make $1 out of 15 cents? Type me if you think it'd be easy to make $1 out of 15 cents. How many of you can make $1 out of 15 cents over the course of the next year? It's getting quiet in here. 566% return. Ryan said he could do it. Who else could do it? 15 cents, I probably go buy maybe 3 big pens or something like that, and then try to sell them for 25 cents and then do that again or something like that. Okay? All right. So how about this? Some of y'all struggling with trying to make $1 out of 15 cents. How many of you can make $100 out of $15? How many can make $100 out of $15 over the course of a year? Okay. How many of you can make $10,000 out of $1,500? How many of you can make $100,000 out of $15,000? Michelle, the only one with confidence in here. How many of you can make $1 million out of $150,000? Now, you heard how those numbers went up. Which one is easier to y'all? Making $1 out of 15 cents or making $1 million out of $150,000? Which one is easier in your mind? And which one is easier in your mind? Making $1 out of 15 cents or making $1 million out of 150K? Okay. Some people think it's the same. Honestly, it's a lot easier to make $1 out of 15 cents than it is to make $1 million out of $150,000. Okay. So this shows and proves that It is to whom much is given, much is expected. Some of you love or get excited about how much wealth other people have. You know, when you were born into wealth, and let's say you inherited it because somebody transitioned and it was left to you, you know that having wealth can be stressful. Now, I'm not wishing that for any of you, but knowing that you are sitting on all this resource, it's called resource because it came from the one source. It's called resource because it came from the source, and you are supposed to resource it, okay? When you are sitting on a lot of money, and I've had times in my business where I was sitting on cash and it was stressful. I'll be honest with you, it was stressful because in that moment, I knew it shouldn't be sitting, but I didn't have the idea, right, on which to put it towards. But I kept praying, I kept waiting to receive, and those opportunities came up. But when you've been blessed with a lot, and you know that you're responsible to put this energy out into the world and get it to multiply, there is a lot of responsibility to that. It is easier to do that with $1.50 or 15 cents than it is with $150,000. Okay? So, in conclusion, I want to wrap up. Okay? We have to be better receivers. It's a skill set that can be developed. It's a skill set that can be developed. You have all been great givers. And my prayer for you is that you learn how to receive to the degree that you understand how to give. You learn, keep giving. I'm not asking you to pull back on your giving whatsoever. But when you learn how to receive the way you give, you will experience more heaven on earth than you are experiencing right now. Okay? So what I want you to do is I want you to write down on your piece of paper. I want you to write down, in fact, I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna show you something. I'm gonna do this with you right now. Okay. Edit, paste to match. I'm gonna do this with you right now. Okay. So what I want you to do, I want you to write down your 10 most important relationships right now. I want you to write them down the line. Okay. This is the section of our teaching where we call it bringing heaven down to earth, where we're making this practical. Okay. Okay. I want you to write down your 10 most important relationships. Oh, we know the God relationship. We know how that one works. Okay. And then on the other side, I want you to write down me. Actually, just put me. Okay. I'm doing this with you right now. Okay. So for those of you who are Instagram and aren't seeing what I'm showing, you are writing the 10 most important relationships on one side of your paper, and then on the other side, you're writing me 10 times. Okay. Now, what I want you to do is I want you to draw an arrow. I want you to draw an arrow that reflects, for each relationship, I want you to draw an arrow that reflects the giving. Okay. If the giving is equal, then I want you to draw 2 arrows that are meeting in the middle. Okay. Are y'all seeing this? If the giving is equal, I want you to draw 2 arrows that are meeting in the middle. That means that it is reciprocal, okay? That the relationship is reciprocal. You are giving and receiving, all right? In situations where you are overgiving, not overgiving as in you should pull back, but let's just say you're in a life partnership and you feel like, man, I'm giving 70%, they're giving 30, then I want you to draw the arrows like this, okay? So take a moment to do that. This is bringing it down to earth, okay? I don't want you to just get hyped. I don't just want you to get inspired. I want you to be able to make this and apply this practically to your life, okay? Financial spirituality is not some woo-woo, right? This is us actually practicing these principles, All right. And then, of course, down the middle, if you fold your paper or you do something down the middle is a 50-50 relationship. And that's what we ultimately want. Equal. Actually, in some cases, for you all who are givers, I don't just want a 50-50 relationship. I want you to actually have some relationships in your life where there is a mutual understanding that somebody is pouring into you more than you are pouring into them. Because you've been doing that for other people. I have some mentors who know that they pour into me more than I pour into them. I try to pay them back. I'll take my mentors to their favorite restaurant. I'll send them checks and things of that nature. But I know what they've poured into me is more than what I will ever be able to pour back into them. But if there's an understanding that they are trying to transfer knowledge and understanding to me, right? And so I'm actually, in some ways, helping them carry their life forward, okay? So I just want you to do this. And I've given you a demonstration. Let's say for my mom. I'll give you an example for my mom. My mom, it's a one-sided relationship right now. I love her, all my heart, mind, and soul, but it's a one-sided relationship right now because I care for her. I'm her, I have power of attorney over her affairs, okay? And so I'm 100% pouring into her. All right. So what happens is when we look at these core relationships, at some point, if I'm 100% caring for my mom here, there has to be another relationship in my life where I can get my receive so that I can get that energy back and come back to balance. I have to have another relationship in my life where I can get this excess energy that I'm pouring here and not getting some back. And so I might find that in, I'm gonna put my mentor here, forget Instagram. A lot of you are pouring into Instagram and it's not pouring anything back to you, right? Putting your whole life on there, curating information, and it's not doing anything for you whatsoever. So let's say my mentors, they're pouring into me like this. And of course, I try to do my best to give back to them, but there's nothing I could do financially that would ever pay them back for how they pour into me, okay? So this is how I start to compensate for this over pouring into of my mother, all right? Does this make sense, y'all? Oh, you can't see my screen? Oh, you don't see the slide. Oh my goodness. Let me try again. Here it is. I hope this makes 100% more, I hope this makes it 100% more clear now. Ah, okay, cool. Sorry, y'all gotta scream and let me know in the chat. All right, cool. All right, so you see how this works? I'm gonna call it the giving and receiving chart. Okay, so I encourage you all to do this. We're not gonna finish it here and now, but I encourage you all to do this and see where you're over giving. Again, not over giving in that in terms of you should be giving back, but instead of you pulling back, ask, how can I actually allow this person to pour into me some more? You might be in a relationship where you're actually micromanaging and you're not allowing the other person to step up because you are such a micromanager. You won't create enough space for them to do their part, right? Because you are, let's say you frustrate, you hate seeing the dishes. You hate seeing the dishes sit for an hour, right? And the way they operate, they'll make sure the dishes get done before they go to sleep. But you hate seeing the dishes sit for an hour because you know things are gonna get harder to clean. So what happens is you default into, man, you know what? I'll just go do the dishes. I'm not gonna wait until the night. I don't want this food getting stuck on the plates, things of that nature. And so you actually are robbing them of the opportunity to give to you and to pay you back. You're robbing yourself of the opportunity to receive in that moment. Does that make sense? Does that make sense, y'all? So don't pull back on your giving again. That is not the goal. That is not how we're operating. But ask yourself, how can I receive more in this specific relationship? And for some of you, that's going to require an actual conversation with the individual, right? And some of it's just going to be you getting out the way. Some of it's going to be you getting out the way and just letting them fill the gaps that you thought you had to fill, right? If you have kids, it might be saying, look, can you pick up the kids from school on every day? I've been doing drop off and pick up, but can you actually do Monday, Wednesday, Friday? Right? I know it's a little bit out of way for work for you, but it would allow me to do my self-care on those 3 days a week. These are conversations that need to happen in your relationship, okay? All right? So we're going to wrap up. We're going to wrap up, and I want to say this. All right, take a screenshot of this chart real quick. Take a screenshot. All right, I'm gonna give you 5 seconds. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. All right. So, how to receive better, y'all. First and foremost, stop acting like you have it all. Be more vulnerable about your needs. Okay? Stop acting like you got it all taken care of. And be more vulnerable in these relationships, these 10 core relationships, about your needs. Stop putting on the cape. Basically, stop putting on the cape and trying to save everybody. Be more vulnerable about your needs. I've never revealed this. We've been in a marriage for this many years, but I actually need the first 15 minutes of my morning to myself. And I'd like to figure out how to work on that together. I'm happy to set my alarm clock and wake up at 5:45 instead of 6 a.m. But if the kids come in, can you make sure that you get out of bed and take them so I can finish my self-care to allow me to be a better partner to you? Right? So stop acting like you have it all taken care of. Stop wearing the cape and be more vulnerable about your needs. Okay? Number 2, stop making other people guess. It says, ask and ye shall receive. There are people you have feeling indebted to you that you won't let pay you back, and it does not feel good to them. Okay? So stop making other people guess and simply ask for what you need. They are ready to give to you. They've been wanting to give to you, but you haven't allowed them to give to you. You've been treating them like Sally Mae or a credit card company. Create ways for them to pour into you so that the relationship is reciprocal and it grows together, okay? Number 3, stop being the one. Surround yourself with people who can pour into you. Some of you get high. I'm gonna change that language. Gotta catch myself up. Some of us, myself included, get high on having everybody depend on us, okay? And what we haven't done is surrounded ourselves with people who are at higher levels of consciousness in terms of money, in terms of health, in terms of relationships, in terms of spirituality, in terms of career. We haven't surrounded ourselves with people who are at higher levels of consciousness in those specific areas to be able to pour down into us. We are the highest of the high amongst everyone around us. And therefore, if you're the highest of the high, then nobody can pour into you except your creator. And your creator will pour into you, but you can only hold so much to the extent that you're able to receive. Okay? So stop being the one. You ain't got to be Neo. All right? Then number 3, stop expecting to receive without releasing first. Clear space. Clear space. Get rid of those old clothes that you're no longer wearing or don't fit if you want new ones. Clear the space first. Okay? You have to open your hands in order to receive. That means releasing and letting go. You can't pour new wineskin into old wineskins or else they'll burst. So release your wardrobe. In some cases, many of you got forced out of your job as a result of this coronavirus. Okay? Some of you need to release the person that you're dating. Okay? Some of you need to release negative beliefs to clear out space for newness to come in. So stop expecting to receive more without releasing first. God doesn't just pour on more and more and more and more when the bottom foundation is old or no longer serving you, okay? Then stop limiting how it will come. Stop limiting how it will come. Start looking for how it is already coming through gratitude and breadcrumbs. Some of you have only limited income to your job. And there are many different ways for money to flow to you. My mom did a great demonstration yesterday. she's on fixed income, and she was calling around banks because what she found is that her accountant had some money set aside for her from way back when in case she needed it for taxes, and it was just sitting there. And then while she was trying to find a bank in New Orleans that used Zelle, she found it, as she called US Bank, and found out that she had an account there that had money sitting inside of it, $500. So, and this is literally after this crazy week, she literally found hundreds of dollars that was sitting there that had her name on it. So this was a very beautiful demonstration of how many of you are going to have to rely and trust that money can come to you in other ways besides just a job or an employer. Okay? This is going to be an act of faith, a demonstration of faith for many people over the coming weeks and months. All right? And the final thing, y'all, is if those things aren't practical enough that I just shared with you, start learning from those you've been giving to. Those you've been giving to have been willing to receive from you abundantly, and you've just been pouring into the cup. No matter how big they make it, you figure out how to pour into the cup. So learn from them. Learn from everybody you've been giving to where you feel the relationship is not reciprocal, that it's not even, and say, wow, they just ask for what they need from me, and I feel it. They just ask and they don't worry. Like, what can you learn from or they ask twice or 3 times. My mom, she asked for something 5 times. I'll tell her no. She'll ask 5 times. Her persistence sometimes make me just give it to her, right? So you can learn from the people who have been receiving from you. So observe them, because there's knowledge and wisdom there, and as we all develop this skill set of receiving, okay? So we're going to close with our affirmation, and we call this mental wealth treatment, okay? Mental wealth treatment. A treatment is an affirmation or prayer that seeks to align our consciousness and attune our mind with the truth about who we are, whose we are, what we are, and why we are, and accept our divine inheritance as opposed to begging, beseeching, or trying to persuade God to give us that which is already ours. Now, again, I always say that there are times to pray from a position of weakness when you are in pain, or you're in grief, when you are in lack or don't have clarity. This is like Jesus in the Garden of Gethsemane, right before the crucifixion. But most of your prayers, when you look at Jesus, most of his prayers are standing up. Most of his prayers are standing up and from a place of power and strength. And so a mental wealth treatment and affirmative prayers from a place of power and positivity. So this is our prayer and our affirmation for this series, and I'll read it. I am a multiplier. I was born to be fruitful and multiply. I subtract all thoughts of fear, doubt, and worry from my mind. I unify any thoughts in my mind divided against themselves. I seek first the kingdom of God, knowing that everything I need and desire shall be added unto me. Ashe, amen, and so it is. I'll repeat that. I am a multiplier, and I want you to repeat it with me. Mumble it to yourself or scream it loud, wherever you at. I am a multiplier. I was born to be fruitful and multiply. I subtract all thoughts of fear, doubt, and worry from my mind. I unify any thoughts in my mind divided against themselves. I seek first the kingdom of God, knowing that everything I need and desire shall be added unto me. Ashe, amen, and so it is. So with that, I want to say thank you for being here on this Sunday. And again, if this message moved you, if this truth set you free, then please set it free by sharing it. If you want to get text message reminders about the sermons, then please go to thefinancialchurch.com, thefinancialchurch.com. The webpage should be working this week, and sign up for the text message reminders. A lot of you got that sent out today. And if that's not working, please just email support@thefreedomschool.com. freedomschool.com. I'll put that in the chat. Support@thefreedomschool.com if that's not working for whatever reason. And in chat, to close out, please let me know what your greatest takeaway was for today. What was your greatest takeaway for today? And next week, I'll remind you, next week, I'm going to have a spreadsheet for you. I'm going to have a spreadsheet for you, a Google or Excel document or a Google spreadsheet. And we're going to be doing our balance sheets on the first Sunday of every single month, even though that's going to be the 29th, I believe, the closest Sunday to the new month. We actually do our balance sheets. We do our balance sheets and we assess our net worth. And every single month in this ministry, every single month, our net worth should be increasing. Our net worth should be increasing. And we're going to be observing how we're manifesting through our finances. If our net worth is not increasing, it means that something occurred that month. And we're starting at a very interesting time in all of our lives. We're starting at a very interesting time. But we will be doing financial analysis. That is going to be one of our monthly rituals on the Sunday closest to the turn of the month. I've been doing this process for about the past, how long has it been? I think it's been almost 10 years I've been doing this process. And guess what? Every single month for the past 10 years, my net worth has increased. Okay, what is net worth? Net worth is your assets minus your liabilities. Okay, your assets minus your liabilities equals your net worth. Now, I do have a lot of my net worth is, remember, I don't keep a lot of cash. A lot of my net worth is in real estate. And a lot of people are like, well, Julian, isn't real estate going to have some challenges? Yeah, I might lose some value and appreciation, but that doesn't concern me because I'm a buy and hold investor. So I know that over time that property will appreciate. I'm not fazed by the current conditions, right? I'm not fazed by the current conditions, and all my tenants and all my rents still cover my mortgages, even if in this moment in time, I have some tenants who have challenges. And I'm working with my tenants now to navigate this together, okay? So this is the process. This is the process. And I'm just trying to make sure that if you grow your net worth, if you were to, in fact, next week I should show you, if you grow your net worth by 1% every single month for the next 30 years, you're going to be straight. You're going to be straight. And so that's going to be our focus, okay? But we need to track it. What gets measured is what gets done, all right? So what was your greatest takeaway? So Black Cherry said, developing my receiving muscle. My greatest takeaway is that I should expect to receive. Beautiful. My takeaway is that I'm open to receive if I'm not taking care of what I currently have. My net worth was calculated last year due to market tanking. I already know my net worth has decreased significantly, but my God will restore me abundantly. And we're going to watch that occur. We'll be tracking that. A lot of people have no clue what their net worth is, okay? They don't even know what their income is. Tanya, I lost my job, so I know my net worth has decreased, and I don't want to look at it right now. I understand, Tanya. We want to look at it because we want to see how far God is going to take you. If it's negative or if it's zero, we want to see that. Oh, I remember we tracked it with Julian on that last Sunday in March, and it was zero at that time. And you're going to have a testimony to tell a year from now, 2 years from now that, yeah, when I first tracked my net worth, it was very, very low. And this is what has occurred through my change in consciousness and then ultimately my manifestations. So we can't be afraid to look at what is. Just what is. No judgment. Just is what it is. All right. And we can only grow from there. We can only grow from there. As I walk through the valley, right? It says, as I walk through the valleys, God is with you at all times. God is with you at all times. God has never left you, has not left you in this moment. So let's not hide when we're in the valleys. This is when we need to be on the mountaintops, right? And when our faith actually has to be at its highest, honestly. A lot of people only faithful when it's good. And then their faith wanes and freezes up or runs away. Runs away. What happened with Peter? Peter denied Jesus 3 times once the crucifixion started to unfold. Denied him that quick. Was rolling with this dude for a period of time. And then as soon as things got tough, deny. This is the time where our faith has to strengthen. And we're going to, and the way us measuring our finances is just one form of measurement and demonstration of how our wealth consciousness is increasing. All right. Ryan said, I can't be afraid to carry this weight along with the talents God has given us. We will get through. All right. So I think it's interesting. I think this ministry has I think this in ministry has come at the very perfect time, very perfect time in human history. And I'm so glad to be being used in this way. And I'm so glad and thankful for all of you showing up for yourselves. I'm grateful to be able to serve in this way. And given these financial times, I'm pretty certain my spirit is being moved to continue this work beyond just next Sunday. Given these times, the wealth consciousness is the only way that we will bounce back, because the old model that we have of this corporate America, this pyramid scheme, et cetera, that is not where it's at, and that does not lead us to freedom. So I'm so excited to be leading you on this path. And again, I'm not trying to convert anybody. I'm trying to share as many new thoughts as I possibly can, and hopefully some of those thoughts take root and support you. This is not a denominational based ministry. It is financial ministry. We all deal with money on a daily basis, and I'm excited to be being used in this way. All right. So I love y'all. I love y'all. And I will see you all next Sunday. Go get all your passwords straight. Okay. So service is going to be a lot different next Sunday. Go get all your passwords straight. Have them ready. Know all your accounts, retirement accounts, checking accounts, mortgage accounts. Go do all those password resets. It's going to be slow because some people have 15 accounts, some people have 3 accounts, but we're going to go through it together. And as we go through it together, each month, it'll become easier and easier and easier, and people will be able to go through it a lot faster. All right. So that concludes our series on the parable of the talents. I hope you have a brand new understanding of what that parable means and what it has taught us about how God wants us to work with and relate to and multiply money. And I hope you have a good Sunday, and I will talk to you all soon. All right. Much love, y'all. Peace.